Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wyld. Today we are talking about I almost got scammed on UberEats. Major customer's mistake on me. So as we all know, as gig workers, we're usually the fall guys for any and all mistakes that are made either by the customer or the restaurant or even the platform itself. And honestly, it's bullcrap on too many levels. But in this case, it ended up being that the customer's mistake almost cost me big time. Or at least it would have if I didn't know better. So in this video, we are talking about what happened during this delivery, what I did in response to this obvious blunder on their end, and everything in between. But before we do that, let's go over a quick disclaimer. The content of this video does not contain, is never intended to be, legal, business, financial, tax, or health advice of any kind. This video is for entertainment purposes only. It is advised that you conduct your own research and consult qualified professionals before applying anything you find online. I also want to be clear that everything that I'm going to be going over is very market dependent, and what applies to me in my market may not apply to you. So with that said, let's get started. The order itself. So I received an order from a local restaurant around here, Aromas del Peru. And it is usually hit or miss over there whether they're on their stuff or not. Either they're really on it or really not. And I get there and they're kind of just wrapping things up. Now, in this order, it was 3 food items and 2 alcoholic beverages, beers to be more specific. Personally, I have no problem with alcohol delivery. I have, in most cases, never had issues with customers. They always have their ID. Whether they need to find it in a purse or something, sure, but they always have it. I scan it and I leave. Either way, after 2 minutes of waiting for them to finish it up, I headed to the customer, which was a couple of buildings down. And the customer instructions were to call when I get there and she will be in the lobby. Which, okay, that's pretty normal. Sometimes they just like to come down and get it. I called 3 times and I get ghosted. Shocker. Another person in the building was also coming out after the 3rd phone call and actually suggested I bring it up because she kind of has a reputation for doing that. And I was like, yeah, it's not a bad idea. I get to the 8th floor and she finally calls me back.
I said I was gonna meet you in the lobby. Do you even read the customer instructions?
You mean when it says call you when you get here and I called you 3 times with no answer? Okay. People like this always piss me off. Like, I was literally following the instructions to a T. Now you don't want to receive the call and it's my fault? What's your problem? Anyways, I get back to the lobby and I ask her for the ID. Now, this is a problem because now she doesn't have her ID on her. Okay, so let's go back up to the unit now that we've proven that you still need the ID in order to finish the order, so we can go up to the unit and just get the ID, right? And I'm almost ready for her to say, yeah, let's go do that, just to feel minorly justified in going all the way up just to go all the way down, just go all the way up again. But sadly, no, that justification didn't come because they were hanging out by the pool with her friend, which kind of makes sense. Some food and beers by the pool in some sunshine actually sounds like a good afternoon. Except with this customer going off a little bit ahead of me so she could talk to her friend, and she talks to her friend asking her about her ID. And at that point, I'm like, oh no. Apparently, she didn't have an ID on her. She came straight over there from her home, drove over there without it. Quick rant on this, by the way. How exactly do you have a purse full of crap that can weigh more than most toddlers do and not have one of the most essential parts of your life? Seriously. What are you gonna do if a cop pulls you over? Play the woman card?
License and registration, please.
It's because I'm a woman, isn't it?
No, it's because you were driving recklessly and ran over a child.
What? Oh my god, I don't feel safe. I'm having a panic attack. I'm a woman in danger. I can't breathe.
Neither can the kid. Please step out of the vehicle.
So her friend didn't have an ID, so obviously she had one, right? That just means we would have to go up to the unit instead of taking the shortcut of expecting her friend to have an ID to cover her ass. Oh, she had an ID on her. It just expired in 2019.
I had it renewed. It just isn't on me right now.
I wonder if she says that to everyone who has to ID her.
Ma'am, this license has expired.
I have have renewed it. I just don't have it on me.
Yeah, well, I renewed my patience. I just don't have it on me. Please step out of the vehicle.
I think my favorite part was her asking me to scan it anyway.
Well, obviously it has been renewed. So why don't you just scan it and it will connect to the DMV database and it will show you that this is fine.
You know what? Sure. Let's appease all the YouTube commenters that claim I don't know a thing about customer service after 15 years of experience in retail, customer service, management, food service, finance, sales, as well as the corporate side of things, and 15 years experience in the gig economy. Let's see what happens after I scan it.
Yeah, let's see. Maybe we'll both learn something.
ID has expired. You would think with someone who has more experience, more understanding, and a full scope of things, and not to mention 9 times out of 10 right about everything that's been happening, they would listen to you more. No, they don't listen to me. They would rather feel right than be right. Anyway, I said I would have to bring it back to the restaurant.
Wait, can I still have the food and the non-alcoholic items?
Now, I'm gonna be real with you. I didn't really know this one because I've never had an issue where a customer was ordering a meal and had to be ID'd and they had an expired ID. So I called support and asked them about it. But I love how she chimed in during the call when I was explaining the entire situation and that she didn't have a valid ID that I could scan.
The ID is valid, it's just expired.
That's what makes it invalid! Did you put any thought at all into this statement? Anyway, Uber support agent 1 said, yeah, you could leave the food, but you have to bring back the item that was alcoholic. I brought back the beers to the restaurant and they were totally understanding, thank God. I finished up the order. I don't know if you could tell here, but this is what it shows when the tip isn't processing anymore, but is just done. It's like there's no processing, there's no anything. This is what you're getting for this order. So I lost the tip, ended up tip baited, whether it's the company or by the customer. Right away, I did even more work for you than was intended, and I was treated like absolute garbage by the customer, and you're violating the contract like that? Yeah, no, I'm not just taking that. Dealing with support. So I immediately contacted support again. Again, we already dealt with Uber Agent 1 and I was annoyed. I explained the situation and got the scripted response.
Because the order just finished, it will take an hour to hit your account.
Which isn't even true anymore because now there's a literal system within the app where it tells you if a tip is processing, as opposed to saying it's just not in the app yet. I made a video talking a little bit more in depth about this update as well as others. I'll leave that in the description. Feel free to check that out. So I said, okay, I guess I'll call back in an hour and I'll re-explain it to you. 1 hour later, no tip. I was right, as usual, and this happens.
Hi. Thanks for calling Uber support. Para español, presione dos. We've made some improvements to our support processes to enable us to serve you better. After this call, you will receive a link that redirects you to the help center. Click on that link to get support. To get support at any time, please visit the help center in your Uber driver app and tap Contact Support. From there, you will be able to contact us via chat, phone, or email, whichever you prefer. We are no longer accepting calls at this number.
So they have that automated call system, and yes, they do send you a notification and they give you a list of options going through an AI chat bot explaining everything. You could go to delivery trips and fares, I need more help, and you could actually just use the phone there. And what ends up happening is that it would take you to the exact same number. It's not like it would take you to a completely different number. It's the same number. Like, what's the freaking point? And not to mention that update was added to me between 2 phone calls out of 3. That means 2 went through just fine. And the 3rd call, that's when that automated message hit, and it happened on a Sunday? of all days in the random afternoon? Was it a problem an hour ago? It is a problem now. Which, again, I could just call from the app. It'll bring me to the exact same number that isn't taking calls anymore. They literally only implemented that just to scam more people into not pursuing their payments by making it even more misleading. Which, what the heck is that? Either way, Support Agent 3 put me into a hold loop, which... shocker. I hung up again. Support Agent 4 put me through to a supervisor. The supervisor was super chill, actually had experience with food delivery apps in the Philippines. Not gonna get into that. He didn't want to risk his supervisor position, and I don't blame him. He paid me $15 for the missing tips, and it was a painless and easy process. Really appreciated. Honestly, that painless process was really helpful when I was doing a Walmart Spark order. Final thoughts. Honestly, I'm annoyed at the overall expectations of alcohol deliveries I now have on UberEats. Doordash does full pay and a half for a return. Grubhub will add a couple of bucks. Instacart will take the tip off, but they'll add $15, which is great because sometimes the tip is less than that. And now UberEats only gave me 91 cents. Granted, it was a block down, but 91 cents for the return? Are you kidding me? And they're stealing the tip on top of it unless you fight them over that? What is that? That is garbage. Honestly, if alcohol delivery wasn't such a high-paying gig in my area, I would have been done with it at that moment. But remember, you gotta be willing to fight for the payment you deserve and don't just accept face value. See past what they are claiming is true and hold them accountable. These companies aren't gonna look out for your safety and your finances and your accounts. You have to be a big boy and big girl, put on your big girl and big boy pants and do it yourself because no one is gonna look out for you the way you are. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.